Finally, the servers are back up. Hey, I'm gonna take a quick look over the patch notes before I jump into some games. So it looks like Electric got reworked. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Electric 7 got reworked, let you supercharge your electric Pokemon. Artificial items now are named tools, and only a subset of tools will be found within the artificial synergy. No. Well, I don't know if that's good or bad. Item recrafted. Several items have been redesigned. Lucky Egg into heavy duty boots. Fluffy Tail into safety goggles. Trace Scarf into loaded dice. And Rotom Phone into Spell Tag. And new tools and gadgets are now available. Choose your starter. Stage 0. Portals now work like other portal rounds and let you choose your starter Pokemon from the selection of 3 based on the portal symbol. Eevee is now a special starter option like Kecleon and Arceus. Eevee is now a special starter option like Kecleon and Arceus. So are there going to be like starters that are being taken out of the pool now? I'm confused. We'll have to see when we get into a game. And we got some new Pokemon. Finally, the Rotoms have special types. Okay, so is this gonna be like you get? So I wonder if regular Rotom's not light anymore, which is interesting because he was one of the better light uniques. Looks like he's pretty much artificial now and not light anymore. We got a new light unit. I'm assuming that this one is a. I don't like that it's not selecting properly. It also should probably full screen. Sorry, wrong one. Why do I keep clicking on that? Why does it keep deselecting it? Let's refresh. Okay, now it's not dipping out. Okay, it still is kind of doing it. I guess we can look at them in the team builder in a moment. Okay. I'm assuming Rotom works kind of like the ground dragon, where you can like drag the thing, or like Dioxys, where you can like change their forms based on what items you have. I was going to compare it to Ogerpon, but actually maybe Ogerpon is an apt comparison because the masks all stay in your inventory on the left side. I'm going to assume it works more like Ogerpon, where all the items are on the side and you just drag them over to churn them into these different types. We'll have to look and see how good they are. Okay, new Pokemon. Rotom Heat Wash, Frost Fan, Mo, Galarian Weezing. He's Fairy. Yeah, that's what I thought. The Worm, which is Ground Steel. That's cool. Now there's a couple different Ground Steels. Wonder how much of a overlap you can do that with, because there's Drillbur, there's Steelix, there's another one, isn't there? There's another one. I just can't think of it. I guess you can kind of stick the Aggron, sorta. He's not ground, but he can fit into a ground team as the ninth. What's Kling Klang? Steel Artificial? That's another artificial overlap with Steel. So with Veveroom, the sword, and Beldum, we got 4 Steel Artificial overlaps. Who's this Pinkern? Or Pinchern? Amorphous. Hey, that's another... Oh, it's a unique. It's another amorphous aquatic electric type with that Electros line. Gameplay. Stage 0, portals now corral on you 3 starters with 3 item components that can be chose from the portal symbols, which places a random Pokemon given to you at the start of the game. So that means you get an item on round 1 of the game. Max fighting duration has been increased from 40 seconds to 50 or 45 seconds. This should get less draws now. Unless, both people are incredibly durable and do low damage output. Increase base duration of item. Base duration of from 15 to 16 seconds. The base from 5 to 6. A bit more time to read item description and make your choice. Okay, I'm guessing that's the window. The windows that pop up when you're making your choice. You have 1 more second. I don't know what it means by delay. But I'm assuming that the choice, we have 1 more second to think about that. Units with both burn and freeze. Status is now unfreeze twice as fast. Status now unfreeze twice faster. Okay, so if you burn a frozen target, you unfreeze quicker. Interesting. So you definitely do not want Pokénomicon in a Frost team. Synergies have been reordered based on their amount and amounts of families, unique legendaries, and specials included. This has an impact in cases of equalities between synergies, notably Arceus and Kecleon. Okay, so I think what it's saying with that is it's going to be switching around the order of them on the status bar screen based on amount of families. So does that mean the amount of Pokemons that are within the synergy is how it appears on the sidebar? But I think that's what it's meaning with the whole Arceus and Kecleon thing, is if there's overlapping synergies that it could choose from, it's going to choose the one with the most families on your team. I think that's what it's saying. Synergies obtained with unknown W. Which synergy is Porygon converted to? Synergies obtained with... Oh, this is the... sorry. I didn't realize that. That's the notable thing. Arceus, I didn't know what unknown W is. I don't really know what any of the unknowns do. I never really use them. But okay, it also converts what Porygon's going to turn into. When evolving a Pokemon by merging 3 copies, items held by the unit on the board are prioritized rather than those held on the bench. Okay, so if you accidentally have items on the same unit on the bench, it'll push it off the unit and prioritize the ones that are on the board. Okay. Don't know when that would happen. Well, I guess if you want to switch items around, that works now. Like if you want to take items off of a Pokemon and put a new set of items on it, you could stick it on a new copy of that and stick it on the board. Okay, interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind. That's good information. Board effects, smog, traps, terrain can now overlap on the same cell. Units moving through the cell with multiple board effects will gain all effects. Okay, so stuff like, I guess it wasn't prioritizing putting like the burning fire and like Skarmory's like spikes on the same terrain, and now it will. Okay, interesting. Reworked Electric 7. So did it not touch the rest of Electric? Okay. Electric 7 supercharged. Triple attacks also burn 10 PP of the target and charge a cell battery by 5%. Each cell battery on bench gives 3 speed to all your electric Pokemon. Cell batteries can also be used on electric Pokemon to supercharge them for the next fight, granting it 50 speed and electric field. Electric field just increases electric Pokemon damage. So are we going to be getting batteries now? I'm going to have to check out electric and see how it works. New effects for grass. 40% of overhealing now gained as max HP. Okay, I like that. I've always loved grass. Grass is one of my favorite. Well, grass floral is one of my favorite synergies in the game. Um, right after my fire ghost team that I love so much. But I do love grass. I just always felt like it was kind of a weak synergy, especially. Like, I love grass floral. I always have. I've liked it even before the changes to it. Um, but buffing grass definitely helps the. Will also help floral because there's a lot of overlap in grass. And one of the problems I always had with grass is that, yes, if you're at full health, then the healing does nothing. So if your Pokemon aren't getting targeted, they're not getting any benefit. So this will help with that. As well as the healing is good in certain stages of the game, but in certain other stages of the game, it's not as impactful. Like getting a really early grass 3 in the first couple of rounds of fighting PvP combat. Grass is quite powerful for those like first 2-ish fights. But once they get the 5 Pokemon on the field, it starts out damaging the healing to the point where the healing feel like it's impactful, but it's not, super impactful. But if you're able to rush up to grass 5, then you can also hit a curve. But getting 5 grass types on the churn that you hit grass 5 is quite hard. But then you hit another bump where you're kind of above the power curve for a little bit, and then you start falling off once people hit like 7. And if you can rush up to 7 and get grass 7 on the field, that's really awesome. But then it starts falling off once people start getting their legendary and 8-9 Pokemon on the field, and they can just. The healing is still it's still good, but it's not. It's better as the mons like dwindle down. If you're able to use your grass Pokemon to burst down their guys, and then they burst down your guys, and then you have your power carries left on the field, the healing will be impactful in the like 2 versus 2, 1 versus 1 ending scramble, because the healing will be more impactful the less Pokemon that are on the field. But I've always felt like grass, unlike a lot of the other synergies, provide power. Grass provides more of a defensive bonus, and it's not a defensive as in just like more defensive. It's just like over time you're getting benefit from it. It isn't like an innate defensive bonus like ground or ice or rock or can't think of there's definitely another one out there. Oh yeah, fighting. That's why I did like the previous patch that added more fighting grass into the game, because I think fighting and grass have amazing synergy with each other, because fighting reduces damage taken, and then it has that additional synergy that you like hit back after you take a certain amount of hits for some amount of damage absorbed. And the healing allows those Pokemon to stay alive long enough to make use of that punch, as well as the dampened damage from fighting synergize as well with the healing per second from grass. So I always thought those had really amazing overlap, and I was really happy when that patch came out and added a handful more grass and fighting overlap synergy, where you can pretty much make almost a grass 7 slash fighting team, which is cool if you get really lucky, and maybe with a grass stone or two. Psychic synergy threshold changed from 2, 4, 6 to 3, 5, 7. That'll hurt certain things a bit. I think that'll hurt water psychic, which I have a couple videos of water psychic. I have that video titled I guess you don't need much to make water psychic work. So yeah, I guess now you can't make water psychic work as easily, so that video is gonna outdate real easy. I guess that makes pure psychic teams not as dangerous. I'm always pretty scared of a psychic fairy team or a psychic fighting team. The push up by 1 definitely hurts psychic quite a bit. New effect at Psychic 3. An unknown has a 5% chance to appear in your shop. I don't really like these unknowns, to be honest. Every time I've played Psychic, I kind of shy away from them. New effect for Psychic 7. Get a unknown shop and free roll after every fright and every 10 shop rerolls. Interesting. I think that the creators of the game's idea was originally, before this patch, was that you get Psychic 6 and then when you hit 7 per se, you're just throwing an unknown on the field or something like that in the blank slot, because you're getting the power of Psychic. But it's always better to just have an evolved Pokemon in that slot than an unknown, in my opinion. Changed Ice. Free chance on hit is now 30% at all levels. That's going to be a huge nerf to Ice. Special defense buffed. Just at 3rd and 4th level of it, from 30 to 40, and wait, it isn't buffed at all at the last level. So it's just buffed on the 3rd rank, I guess, to make up for the drop on the freeze chance. That's a pretty sizable nerf to Ice, to be honest. I don't know if I like that. I always felt that Ice is like, it's a good synergy. But ice is held back as it doesn't have a whole lot of overlap with a lot of other things besides aquatic. Which is fine because those two synergize quite well together. And it doesn't have a lot of like. It's a lot harder to get ice to work if you're trying to force it because it relies a lot on additionals really to get off the ground. It is a strong synergy. It's just it takes a bit to get it to work. Fighting throws now throw the target further away and always on target's team side of the board and only if the target is at melee contact. Okay. I guess that allows you to surround the unit easier. To like burst it down with all your other fighting mons. Okay, interesting. Artificial items have been renamed to tools. Some tools are now exclusive to the Electrovite Town encounter. Some tools are now exclusive only to... Okay, so what I'm hearing from this, right, is that artificial, when you hit the synergies, will give you a tool, right? And there's a pool of tools, but some of them are only available in the artificial pool, and some of them are only within the wheel that you get these now new tools instead of artificial items. So it'll be a tool wheel. I'm guessing some of the new tools they added, like the hard helmet, and the monster energy drink thing, and I don't know. I don't know which ones will be in the pool, but I know they added a handful of like strong ones, and I guess they're only going to be exclusive to the 10 encounter now. A Rotom phone item is removed due to the rework of Rotom. I don't know why they need to do that, but okay, sure. I could have just kept the Rotom item into the game. It doesn't make any sense that you'd... Why would it affect Rotom's rework? But okay, sure, whatever. Maybe they needed the Rotom phone item for one of the Rotom evolutions? I don't know. Removed Toxic Orb. But I kind of liked Toxic Orb. Okay, sure. I like seeing that thing every once in a while. And it synergizes with some very specific Pokemon. So if you can get that kind of like power combo with a Fluffy Tail or something, or we don't want Fluffy Tail on those Pokemon. You want Assault Vest. Okay. New Pokemon spell tag gives the Ghost synergy. When a holder dies, curses its attacker, KO of 9 seconds. Okay, I think I like that a little bit more than the Rotom phone. And it makes basically gives the Ghost 8 ability as well as the Ghost Dog's cast ability. But I do like the on dies. So you can specifically spell tag a weak Pokemon that you want to redirect damage to die early. So you can like put a Pokemon off to the side in a Ghost team if you get the spell tag. That's interesting. Though you're not going to get the spell tag too often in a Ghost team. But there is a little bit of artificial overlap in Ghost, so there is a chance of getting it. Fluffy Tail is now renamed as Safety Goggles. In addition to its previous effect, it now grants immunity to Sandstorm damage. Okay. I don't know how good that is overall, but I mean, an additional buff to Fluffy Tail is fine. Fluffy Tail is already a strong item. That makes it slightly stronger in certain edge cases. Choice Scarf is now renamed to Loaded Dice and now gives the less luck-based stat. So Choice Scarf was... That was the ice item, right? With Magnet? Is that what's getting changed? It now gives 30 luck. And attacks have a... I guess they were testing it at 100, but now it has a 50% chance to bounce to random enemies for what was 100, but now is... Or what was 50 and now is 100% of the attack damage. So sorry. Now gives luck and attacks have 50% chance to randomly... Oh. Okay. So they're kind of like nerfing Choice Scarf. They don't want a cleave on an item, so they're only giving it a chance to cleave. And it's only to a random enemy. So it's not even a full cleave. Because I'm pretty sure Choice Scarf was able to hit all the targets around the target that was being auto-attacked. So yeah, this is a pretty sizable nerf to Choice Scarf. Oh, I guess why it's doing this was that's what old Choice Scarf was. So this looks like the Loaded Dice is going to be the new luck item because it looks like they're getting rid of Lucky Egg completely. Interesting. I don't know how good that is. Because the people you'd want to put Lucky Egg on, do you really want them having a chance to hit a second target? I guess. Like the ones I can think of is the Delibirds and the other one, the Iron something, the one that looks like Delibird. And there's Rhydon. And I sometimes like putting it on Hisuian Typhlosion because it has a percentile chance based thing on it, even though that isn't the biggest impact because it already has a % chance of doing it on auto attacks anyways because of the fire synergy, but it allows the cast to have a higher chance of igniting things, which is nice. I guess it's just a nerf, and now it's the new look item, which means they're kind of nerfing Lucky Egg at the same time. But Lucky Egg was not the most amazing item anyways, so maybe this is like a buff to... You can look at it in a different way, in a more positive light. This is like a upgrade to Lucky Egg in a way, making it an auto attack Lucky Egg, getting rid of the just AP damage on it and turning it into an auto attack item, if you want to look at it in a more positive light. Okay, so what's Lucky Egg getting replaced with? Heavy Duty Boots. Base stats are 12 defense, and it gives ability power, and the holder is immune to board effects and forces and force displacements. Board effects and force displacements. That will be really good against is it Dialga? Oh, Palkia. I think it's Palkia. Palkia's the water dragon legendary. Putting that on a backline that you don't want to get focused down. It'll also be really good against Pokemon that like to rotate Pokemon and the fighting synergy that they mentioned earlier. Like the double swords, the ghost steel type. Heavy Duty Boots would be good against that. Helps to stop your Pokemon from getting focused down if they get swapped. I don't know how good that is. I don't know if displacement effects are that powerful that you want a dedicated item slot on a backline to that. But there has been games where I've been messed up with that. So I wonder if it just fully stops it. I'm gonna have to test it. We'd have to test the ghost sword against with heavy duty boots on a front line and see if his ability will swap places, or if the ability will go off and then Doubleblade will just stand still. Because that would be cool if it does that. Because that would kind of hard counter that ability, which would be good. That'll also be really good against like Starly. Yeah, that'd be really good against Starly. Or like some of the I think there's other birds that do it. That'd be good against Flying 8 too, because I think no, Flying 8's just the dive bomb. I'm trying to think if there's any other Pokemon that like move your Pokemon around. I don't know. Maybe new ones will come out and Heavy Boots will be a lot better. Hey, X-Ray Visions now has a new icon. That looks the same to me. Does it look more three-dimensional or something? I don't know. Looks the same to me. Unless this is the old one and the new one's just not there. Change Pokédoll. Holders are now more likely to be chosen as the target. That's cool. It's like a pseudo-taunt item now, which I don't mind. Because I usually partner Pokédoll with Muscle Man, and you kind of want your Muscle Band user to take hits. When a Pokemon is considered as a new target between several at equal distance, it will prefer to target the holder of the Pokédoll. I do like that. I don't know if that makes sense for what Pokédoll is, but because Pokédoll and maybe the creators of the game might want to consider thinking of a new name for the item with a new icon. Because Pokédoll is the whole idea of Pokédoll is to try to escape combat in the Pokemon games, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what it does in the Pokemon games. Okay, Electrizer now gives the electric type. That's cool. And the Megamizer also gives a fire type. Okay. Removes the PP burn on triple attack, which should be fine because that basically will happen if you hit electric. The electric 7 synergy anyways. Megamizer now base stats of attack 3 to 5. The holder does not suffer from burn. Did they suffer from burn before? Oh, maybe they just can't suffer from burn. So it's impossible for them to get burnt if they're holding the item, maybe? And it gains 30 speed when it is affected by burn. Okay. It used to be affected by burn, was it? I don't know. I've never really read Megmatizer in full. Oh no, I got dropped from the server for not being in a game. I'm busy reading the patch notes. Come on. I'm active. Okay. Instead of gaining Instead it gains 30 speed when it's affected by burn. Okay, interesting. Pokevirus now gives the poison type synergy. Oh, geez. Okay, so Poison Orb gets a bit of a buff because Pokevirus is a awesome item. Okay, I like that. At least the Poison Synergy type is still in the game. And I usually try to get this item if I see it, if there's nothing better on the board. But this will also make other people want it a lot more. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, there's Dragon Scale. that gives the dragon synergy, which is cool. I love that. But that also just makes dragon even more powerful of a synergy. So, especially since dragon synergy is based on how starred the unit is. That could be crazy. If you give like a unique that is a 4-star, just by virtue of how it works, that would be super strong. It's not going to happen every game, but jeez. Because I'm assuming this is going to be one of the tools you can only get in the exclusive town. I don't think you can get it. I would hope that you can't get this from the artificial synergy all the time. Not that if you're going dragon, it'd be pretty hard to get artificial. They don't have a lot of overlap. New tool, Terrain Extender. At the start of the fight, holder gains either electric field, grass field, psychic field, or fairy field. When casting its ability, spread the field effect to all allies sharing the field synergy. Interesting. I know they just started kind of adding these field effects into the game. So there isn't a whole lot of Pokemon that have them yet, but as more patches come out, this might be more seen, and this item definitely is cool for that. Especially grass field, as I said, grass, as I was saying earlier, grass kind of suffers from being a defensive, semi-defensive type, but this adds damage to grass type Pokemon, so that is definitely a welcome item if you're playing grass. Added a new synergy gem for all synergies except baby. These gems can be found buried in the ground, but can be obtained from Celebi's encounter. Okay, so I'm assuming that what it's saying here is that there weren't gems for every type, but now there is except for baby. Because I'm assuming fighting was one of the gems you couldn't get, because I've never seen it get dug up. So there's going to be a fighting gem now? Okay, interesting. As well as, have I seen a grass gem? Or a monster gem? I think those are like two I haven't seen either. Maybe there was a grass gem, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's good or not. Because the more that are in the pool, the more you can't predict. That might be like a pseudo nerf to ground. Or at least going full ground. Because the problem that ground has, in my opinion, I know that I think it's Shibolva. He loves ground. He loved old ground, and he still likes new ground. I would love to hear his thoughts on the new ground, like a whole like video talking about the new ground synergy and his thoughts on it. Because I'm personally of the opinion that ground is kind of a weaker synergy now. Though it does have some strong things going for it. I think that going full ground, I did have a game where I went second place recently as ground, I think. I just think that it's kind of lacking. One, it's lacking a lot of uniques and legendaries. It has a very, very small pool for both of them, which is cool because consistency-wise, you can kind of predict what you're going to get. But kind of like with Floral, problem with Floral too is that it has a lot of very few uniques and legendaries, and the legendaries it has is not, they're not like power players. You can't reliably get a Floral carry. that's a legendary that you can stick some items on. So you're kind of relying on evolving the shop units to carry the team. Um, the problem with ground, in my opinion, is that it doesn't have much of a backline besides its legendaries and Burmy ground, which is good. And I think that it also kind of relies on getting some power additionals and then potentially regionals. But it's like base kit of ground units that you can get, that you can guarantee get. They're a little lackluster, which is fine. That's how things are supposed to play out. You shouldn't be able to make a amazing team from the base units, but the synergies that work better are the ones that can, like fire and ghost. Base units are really strong with the synergy. I think that's the big problem is the base units are strong with the synergy, but I don't feel like the base units in ground are as strong with ground synergy. I could be wrong though. I don't have amazing experience playing the new ground or even the old ground, even though that one, you know, was pretty easy strategy because I think old ground was a little bit on the broken side. But I don't know if this is a nerf or a buff to ground. I think it'll be a interesting thing if you're just running a couple ground early game like I do sometimes to look to fish for gems and extra items. So it'll allow you to pull off some unique strategies now that there are more gems because you could find a monster gem. Suddenly now you can go monster in a game that you weren't planning on going monster, so that's neat. And a monster gem would be good in ground too. There's a bit of overlap with that. So maybe it's a buff, maybe it's a nerf. I have no clue. I don't think that the creators intended it to be a buff or a nerf, but when you change things, they always moves the game around in the meta. So, okay, where were we? Okay, the gems, protective pads, now also protects against the fighting synergy throws. I guess that's cool. That makes protective pads a counter item that's much better against more things now. And I feel like something needed to help you with fighting because fighting's a pretty strong synergy. So I'm happy about that, I guess. Exchange ticket now. Exchange synergy stones with other synergy stones and other craftable items with another crafting item. Craftable items excluding synergy stones. And other craftable items with another craftable item excluding synergy stones. I'm assuming it means evolution stones. So you can now turn the stones that you dig up. Okay. No. Maybe what it means by synergy stones, it means evolution stones. So now when you use an exchange ticket on a evolution stone, it'll give you a different evolution stone. And if you use it on other craftable items, it'll turn them into other craftable items, and it doesn't have a chance to turn it into a synergy stone. Okay. That's cool. I don't mind that change. Sticky Barb base defense is increased. I like that. I always felt Sticky Barb was on the weaker side of crafted items, and you're pretty much just using it for the effect on it. Smoke Ball adds an additional 15 base shield. Any buff to Smoke Ball is fine. I almost hate everything that's crafted with seed. Looks like a lot of the seed items are getting buffed because... No, Pokenomicon isn't a seed item. It used to be. The ability power is getting buffed on it. I guess that's good. I guess Pokenomicon can be a semi-replacement item for Soul Dew and Power Lens now, if you aren't able to craft that. Pokenomicon isn't a bad item. It's just the Pokemon that can actually utilize the burn effect are to its extent that you would want it to, because you pretty much would only want it on an AoE attacking Pokemon with their ability. Wide lens crit is up. Well, that's good, because wide lens has always kind of been a meh item, and you pretty much are just using it to give the range to a hyper carry that you want to move from melee to the back. Removed base attack speed from Gracidia Flower. So they're kind of nerfing Gracidia Flower. I don't build Gracidia Flower that often, so that isn't a huge thing with me. So I honestly just hate finding seeds. Revert Blue Orb nerf from patch 6.5 applies the effect every 3 attacks. And then the burn goes down from 20 to 15. Okay. I didn't even realize that was changed. I may have never read the patch notes back then. I guess that's a good thing. I wouldn't know. I don't use Blue Orb all that often, but I guess that's good. I guess it's also good for electric teams, because I suppose you want Blue Orb on electric carries. Incense now gives the floral type again. That's awesome, because I generally hated incense. It's one of my least favorite artificial items, and now they're renamed to tools, so it's now my least favorite tool, but now that it gives the floral synergy again, since floral is one of my favorite types, floral grass, so that's cool. It's kind of hard to get artificial in the floral team setup, but there are certain Pokemon that I don't mind on the team that could floral or artificial, and we can find that in this item wheel. Base stats are now special defense and ability power instead of special defense and luck. Oh no, they're luck now instead of ability power. I don't know if I like that, but okay. Does luck work? Is there anyone that uses luck in floral? I don't know. But you could turn a luck user into floral, I guess. I could have a Rhydon on my floral team. That could be good with the rock overlay, because there are a couple rock that you can get in floral. That's interesting. Eevee is now a special category and is only found at the proposals at stage 4, and it comes with a fossil stone. That's kind of cool. I need to know more about this stage 4 proposal, because I'm wondering if they took some of the Pokemon out of the pool to make them your starter Pokemon. Ditto is no longer appears in the shop before stage 6. So I guess that's a good / bad thing. I see it as a good thing, because personally I don't like seeing early Dittos, because I usually always bypass them, because it's too much of a hit to your economy buying it that early. Usually I just have them freezed in the shop if I really want them for some kind of early evolution. Nerfs and changes to Icicle Mineral. Well, they're finally nerfing the Vanillix. Frickin' hate that thing. So its freeze duration's down from 3 to 2 seconds. And it now correctly strikes the unit at the targeted cell at impact. If the initial target leaves the cell before impact, the missiles can miss If the attacker is KO'd before the projectile landing, the missile will have no effect. Well, I don't know if that part of it's a nerf, but I imagine it kind of is. Okay. Interesting. Changes Magma Storm Heatran. Now deals 100 special damage and propagates to adjacent enemies up to 5 times, losing 20% of its power for every tile traveled. I'm imagining that this is a buff to Heatran, which is good because I thought Heatran was one of the weakest of the fire legendaries you could get. I don't know if he appears that often in Steel, but I know I'm always like super disappointed if I see him and I don't have any other options for fire. This might bring him up, because pretty much Heatran kind of fills the same role as the, what was it, the fish, Chinyu. They're like pretty close to the same Pokemon, except that Heatran's like far worse, and there isn't a lot of overlap with Steel and Fire. So, where there is some overlap with Dark, so Chinyu ends up being a lot better. So yeah, any buff to Heatran's good. That'd make it an actual viable pick, maybe. Kleavor and Scizors are now regional variants of Scyther. They're obtained in Rock and Steel regions. Well, that's awesome because evolving him has always been frickin' hard to do. I rarely ever see Scizor, but I've always kind of wanted to do Rock, but Rock is one of the hardest synergies to get off, and then Steel also, because you got to get a Amorphous and get the Steel thing, which is like super rare. Basically, both of these synergies become super rare because to get the Rock one, you had to get into a dark weather condition, so you pretty much have to run a dark team and have Scizor on it, and then like take Scizor off for a moment so that you can get the dark weather, and then it's just so much hassle. I never actually pulled it off, so now we can actually see Kleavor and Scizor more in games. Tier 4, 3 adjusted stats. Okay, does that mean, I guess they bumped them down, so they're no longer, they can no longer, these two are no longer 4 stars, they're now 3 stars, and they've adjusted their stats to compensate. Okay, so like a minor nerf, but now we get to see them now. Change aquatic ring heal amount from 20, 30, 50, so they buffed it. I know Goldeen has this ability. I can't remember who else does. So I guess that's good for Goldeen. Clamperl is now fossil water instead of fossil water aquatic. That's a nerf. We'll probably be seeing Clamperl a lot less now. Because it used to be kind of a good bridge between water aquatic. But they buffed its defense and its special defense. And it has a new ability, Iron Defense. Clamperl will evolve into Huntaro or Gorbas depending on the dominant synergy between Dark and Psychic. And then it now... Well, okay. You know what? Okay, so does it... No, it doesn't gain Aquatic back. Okay, so they're just kind of changing Clamperl. I'm going to take back my previous comment. Okay, so they're just changing Clamperl. Sucks that it's not an aquatic anymore, but I think this will make Clamperl a much more interesting Pokemon. Because I always felt like it was kind of only ever a consideration if you already had a fossil user on your team to get the fossil synergy. And now... Or to be the bridge between water and aquatic. But now it has the ability of making more psychic water teams, which is cool. And it gives some water dark overlap, which is cool because there's a handful of water dark Pokemon. They're a lot harder to get because most of them are additionals or a baby, but that's cool. Looks like the Gorbass has the new aquatic ring thing. I don't know if that's good though. I can't. It says the healing amount. I wonder if it also deals damage. I forget what Aqua Ring does. Because I don't think you want Psychic for healing. So, it better do damage. This dark thing is pretty interesting. If the target is KO'd, it becomes enraged. I think this will really buff Haunt Tail. And I guess this will also kind of bump Gorbass. I don't know. We'll have to see. Kecleon and Arceus odds have been lowered even further from 1 in 200 to 1 in 400. So we'll be seeing Kecleon and Arceus a lot less. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Sometimes I don't like seeing them, especially Kecleon. And I see a lot of people with Kecleon, which is always annoying. But, yeah. Buffed Stakataka. It's attack from 10 to 20. I guess that's good. I don't think I've ever used Stakataka. But I guess that's good. Galarian Slowpoke now appears in poison regions instead of psychic regions. Yes! Good! I didn't know why I wasn't seeing it in poison regions. I like that change. Yeah. Because I feel like you'd want to use it in a psychic team. Or, in a poison team. Galarian Yanmask now appears in Monster Region instead of Ghost Region. Yes, that's a good change. Though I still don't quite know if this fits on a Ghost team. It might fit on the Monster team. It is... I can't remember. I know it's a melee unit in one of its variants. Maybe the Monster variant's melee? I don't know. Because if it's ranged in Monster, that would be good. Because Monster needs some more range units. But, is there a lot of overlap with Monster Ghost? There's some. There's the Pumpkin. So you can get Monster 2. Or, sorry, Ghost 2. Is there another Ghost Monster? There isn't a whole lot of overlap. I think that's the main problem with this Yanmask thing. Because it has human in its normal form. And there's, like, little to no... I think there's, like, no human synergy with Psychic... Or, sorry, with Ghost. So... It's one of those weird ones that it just doesn't really fit on a Ghost team. And then its other synergies, I don't know if you'd want it, because you need a little bit of overlap with the Ghost. But maybe the Ghost Monster variant will see some play now. Nerf Unknown W now gives a high rarity Pokemon of your choice of your 2 highest synergies. Chance of getting a epic between has been extended up to level 30. Well, I don't know how impactful that is because I've never really used the unknowns. Buff Quagsire. I guess that's good. Haven't really used Quagsire, but I guess that's good. Buff Guzzlord. His defenses are higher. Guess people who love Guzzlord will love that. I don't mind seeing Guzzlord. I just don't play a lot of Monster. Or Dark. New ability for Elekid-Line, Shockwave. This might be good, because I've always felt that Elekid's Paralyze attack is not the... It's not bad. And it fits well on an electric team-ish, I guess. But, if you're trying to use it as a artificial unit on your team, as just getting an additional artificial synergy. The ability is kind of lackluster. Well, I mean, it's okay because I think it's an AoE paralyze, which isn't terrible, but it's definitely not anything amazing. So its new ability is all enemies in 2 range radius. So is it? Is it all enemies in a 2 range radius? Is it turning into like a cone attack of some kind? Or like a frontal slam type thing? Alright, I'll have to see what it looks like in the tooltip. +1 range if the user is in an electric field. I guess they're trying to get some electric field stuff working. The problem is I don't know how to turn on electric field. There isn't a lot of Pokemon that create field at the moment. Reworked Meteor Mash Beldum. I guess that's also good because I've always felt Beldum was kind of weak. Deals 3 times ability power of attack as special damage to the target, 4 times as the user's in psychic field, and increases the user's attack power for each 2 hits. I guess that makes it better on a psychic team. I guess that's good. Especially if you're doing like Psychic Steel or something like that. I'm not gonna make a judgment on that. I've never really used Beldum for anything but trying to get the artificial synergy. Buff Deoxys, all forms. HP is up. Guess that's good. I haven't used Deoxys a whole lot, and I think the 2 last games I played, I was hoping it to turn the game around, and then we lost. So maybe that's what it needs to help it. I don't know. I did have one really good game that I don't think I ever recorded. That I used Deoxys as a frontline tank on a psychic team, and he was just causing the carry out of that because he was just like absorbing so much damage, so that my psychic team could just rip apart the enemy team. Buff Meltan. Is that the fairy steel type? Meltan. I'm not sure who that is. I feel like that's the fairy. No, that's Tinkatank. Who the hell is Meltan? I'm imagining, since it doesn't say the line, that it's a unique or a legendary. I don't know who it is, though. I never played the gen with this in it, so I have no idea what it is. Or maybe I did, and I just never used it or paid attention to the name. But it looks like they're buffing its PP by reducing it so that it can cast more often. So I guess good for that one. I don't know what it is, but that's good, especially if it's a sound unit. If it's a sound unit, that's an awesome buff. Or a water unit or a psychic unit, all of those would love having a lower PP cost. Nerf Fluttermane. Fluttermane. Is that the... That's the special... unique or legendary, I think. Is it really that strong? I never used it. I think every time I've had it offered, I wasn't playing its synergy. Its attack damage went down. I don't know what type it is. I think it's a fairy type. I don't know if that affects it too much. I guess maybe it was just doing too much damage over the... Maybe it's a 3 ranged unit, and they're bringing its attack down because it just lives so long that it's doing too much damage over the course of it being alive. Nerfed Plusle and Minel. Well, I guess that's okay. I've been seeing a lot of people playing Electric Field, so doing that definitely. I'm not inactive. I'm doing stuff. Patch notes. Where were we? Plus line model. I guess making it so that it takes a little bit longer for them to cast their ability will nerf them. Especially since they want to be doing that as soon as possible. It's not the hugest nerf, but it is something. Nerfed Hwicin Coolfish. No longer gains ability power per cast. No longer gains 1 ability power per cast. I'm guessing that it had it as its passive. I can't remember. But its defense is going up. And its barb damage is a little bit higher. So it's losing whatever its passive thing, and then it's just getting... I guess that'll make it like more explosive. And less as a hyper carry. Blossom is now a floral grass sound instead of a floral poison grass. Well, they went and changed that after I just released the video doing this exact synergy. Which would have helped that team out a bit more. Especially in the end game that I had in that video. Yeah, it never really made sense that it was a poison type. The problem with... That is a problem with Floral. I'm going to go on another freaking tangent rant. Floral used to be able to mix poison into the Floral team, but now you can't do it anymore because they took all the Pokemon that had... This is the biggest problem I have with Floral. I love Floral. I used to play old Floral. I loved it. It never was really a top 1 strategy, but it could get you in top 4 if you played it correctly all the time. And sometimes you could pull off a win if there wasn't a super powerful like Dragon team or Fire team or Field team in the lobby or something. But you used to be able to get Poison 3 pretty easily with Floral. It's a lot harder to get the Poison synergy now. So... Especially if you got the baby. If you got Bellsprout, you could easily get the poison. You could almost get Poison 5 if you were really lucky. But now Poison 3 is even very unreachable in the Floral synergy. So, yeah. And that was the offensive power you needed. You can get sound now in the Floral synergy, which is cool, which we pulled off in the last video I just released. But, which gives so much needed oomph to the team. But, Poison 3 wasn't terrible with, you know, the Bulbasaur and the Bellsprout, and then that one additional that's a Poison type on the team, as well as, you know, the carry that's poison, Roserade or whatever, which is pretty much the hyper carry of the Floral team, unfortunately, because the cat was really good when it was field. I just feel like it actually got hella nerfed when it got moved from field to Floral, because honestly I think it's a waste of a unit on the Floral. It only allows you to get the Floral synergy early. We definitely need that cat to not be the Floral grass unit at common rank and some other common put in its place. And give it back to field. I want more field dark. That was kind of the needed crutch to the field dark team, because it was a backline, which was quite desperately needed in the Dark Field synergy. Okay, Armarouge and Celerouge now have human synergy to the existing synergies. As a trade-off, nerf defense as special defense stats as a trade-off. Armarouge and Celerouge. Is that the Ghost Fire, Psychic Fire type? I do like that it's gaining the human synergy. That allows the fire human psychic to be a lot better. And if that is correct, then that also gives a human synergy for you to synergize with the Yonmask. If you're going Ghost, which is interesting. Buff Armor Cannon on Armarouge. Yep, that's definitely the Pokemon I think it is. Okay. I don't know if I like the nerf to defense and special defense, especially since the Ghost variant is a melee unit, but giving it human synergy as Ghost. I guess you could Magmar on that team. Or the monkey. I don't know. It will be good in the psychic team. I don't know if it'll be good in the ghost variant. I think it'll be just a nerf to the ghost variant. But maybe we'll see this and the original Yonmask working together. Buff Armor Cannon, so it does more damage. Nerf Skarmory's passive. Okay. Oh, the spikes. So the spikes do less damage? Okay. I guess that's good. Skarmory had a really strong passive. Nerf Hitmonlee. No, that was my favorite of the Hitmons. No. Okay, whatever. Nerf. It's not a huge nerf. It's just 2 attack, but it's still a nerf. Nerf Necrozma. Line. Who's Necrozma? I don't know which one Necrozma is. That is a pretty sizable nerf. Going up to 110. That'll make getting its cast off incredibly hard. But I might not really care because I don't even know who Necrozma is, so I have no idea how bad of a nerf that is because I probably don't use it. Basculegions are buffed. Well, that's cool. If I can ever frickin' see them when I'm playing water. Okay. Change Roost on Pidove now gives shield instead of healing. Well, that's kind of a buff, I guess. Still one of the worst birds. Just with the main thing that it, like, leaves the battle and falls asleep. Wonder if you can, like, fluffy tail it, though, and make something work with that. I don't know. Reworked Rotom drone is now part of the Rotom line. Interesting. I guess that's why they were changing the item. Reworked Rotom has 7 different forms, and we switch between them with the Rotom catalog. Neat. Buff Ogerpon, all forms. I like that. I love Ogerpon. It's one of my favorite floral legendaries now. It used to be a floral unique, and I really liked it as a unique. And I feel like it's one of the only carries that you can have as a legendary. So, besides Xerneas, but I think Xerneas itself isn't the carry, it's just the passive things that it does when it's on the team. Alcream's passive no longer counts benched units to determine its flavor. That's probably a good buff. Comfey is now dropped when Pokemon resurrects, and Pokemon loses all the stat buffs upon resurrection. Well, I'm assuming that's a nerf. But, yeah. Well, yeah, I imagine that's a nerf. Yeah, that's probably a nerf. I guess people were using Comfey Resurrect plus some kind of carry item on something, and that was winning a lot of games. Deerling and Swashbuckler now have the grass synergy in additional to their existing synergies. So So it's always a grass type. Because it was only grass during summer before, I think. Maybe? I don't know. That's cool. Moved. That's actually pretty cool. Because I've barely ever used this thing. So maybe I can start using it in grass teams. Moved Noibat to uncommon category. Is that the... No, Noibat's the psychic flying type. I guess that's good. Pumpkaboo and Gorgas now have the light synergy in addition to their existing synergies. Sure. Another light unit's good, and it's a light grass. That helps out grass teams. And it's got some buff stats, I guess. No. Nerf stats. Nerf stats. Okay, it's got nerf stats, but now it has a light synergy. Okay, interesting. Switches, I never really use Pumpkaboo unless I get both the grass ghosts. Switch defensive stats of Burmy Trash and Burmy Sand and Wormadam Trash and Wormadam Sandy. Okay. I don't know what that does, but that's good, bad, I guess. I don't know. I don't know them well enough. I only ever use Burmy and ground. Remoraid now can be fished up playing wild based on the wild chance. Remoraid. Okay. That probably is really good. Especially if you're getting... I think the only time that might be applicable is when you're playing the Basculins. Because they're water wild. So now you can get a third wild on the team. I don't think there's any other water wilds. But that's definitely pretty cool. I think you only need 3 of them to get it evolved. So it could be good if you just randomly get it on a... Oh, you can't fish up on PvE rounds. So you're only going to get it... Yeah, I feel like this is only a buff to the Basculin strategy. But that's cool. It's like a slight buff. New ability for Tangela's Vine Whip. Okay, it gets Vine Whip, I guess. I don't know what Vine Whip is, but that's pretty cool. Rework on Power Whip and gives it to Karn and gave it to Carnivine. Dealing special damage, 50% of current HP as special damage to the target. I don't know if that's a buff slash nerf. That changes how Carnivine is used. I think this is to try to make it more in alignment with its monster typing. But that definitely nerfs it as a backline carry. Because its old ability... Most people don't utilize Carnivine's AoE ability, though. They usually use a lot of attack speed items on it, like Punching Glove and stuff. So this definitely buffs its monster. This is going to make it a crazy carry in monster, I think. And it already was pretty good carry in monster. Could see maybe it getting nerfed after a while, depending. Maybe this is a nerf. I don't know. I think it's just a buff, but it's going to nerf other variants of Carnivine. Change Grookey's line passive. It no longer gives PP to users and other drummers. PP gains 234, 235. Okay, so I guess it just goes from... I guess it just is giving all your Pokemon PP now, rather than specific ones. Minor shield buff up and down. Removes minor shield up and down. Remove ability cooldown. I don't know what that is. Buff mud bubble reduces cooldown duration. I don't know what that is either. Buffed lock on. That is Genesect. True damage bonus. I do like that. Always felt like Genesect was kind of a lackluster legendary carry. Buffed Maractus. I do like a buff to Maractus. I always felt like it was the weakest of the floral uniques. And this also buffs its sound potential because now it has a cheaper PP spammable move. Buff Swirlix line. I don't know what line that is, but I guess that's good. Buffed Houndoom. Oh, I like me a Houndoom. Okay, I like that buff. Makes Houndoom even more of a tantalizing pick. I love Houndoom's ability for summoning additional Houndour. So, that's awesome. Centigrade PP no longer resets to 0 when transforming into complete form. I'm guessing that's a buff. Gligar is now epic additional pick. Gligar. Removed from move item rule, evolution rule, adjusted stats. Okay, so it's now no longer a poison unique, and it's now a epic additional. Don't know how to feel about that, because it was always a fine poison type to see, but it was always kind of one of those weird ones, because there are definitely other poisons you'd rather see. It's just I didn't mind seeing it. I hope that ups the chance of getting the bug poison if I'm playing bug poison. Rework first impression. Whirlpaw deals special damage, flicks flinch on first cast, jumps back, responding one random common, uncommon, rare bug Pokemon previous location. PP from 140 to 100. Okay, so it only summons a extra bug on the first cast. That's good because this thing could be pretty broken if you built it correctly. Brave Bird, follow me. Now always move to a position on your side of the board. I don't know which Pokemon has follow me, but Brave Bird, I'm assuming, is Starly's thing. So that's pretty good. The Small no longer regional. Smallvile. I don't know which one that is. So I'm guessing that's an okay thing. Change spark damage. Water line. I don't know what ability that is. I must not use any Pokemon with it. Actually, Spark. We've definitely played with Spark users. I don't play Electric a whole lot, so, but I'm assuming that's going to change now that this is out. Probably end up playing Electric a lot more. Rework, Biceflun is now a legendary Fire Ghost Human. Yay! Another Fire Ghost Human. Actually, you know what? That's awesome for me. I love it. Let's see what it is. I don't know what Bice Phantom fell on. I don't know if I've ever picked this thing, whatever it is. But it's now in my synergy. I love Fire Ghost. And it's human. So that's interesting. Fire. Well, we'll probably see it at some point because I love playing Fire Ghost. Regieleki is now electric human amorphous instead of electric human fossil. Regieleki. Doesn't that kind of break its whole... Doesn't that kind of break the whole thing that they're all fossils? I mean, I guess that's good. I guess it hurts fossil electric synergy, though, a little bit. Because there is a couple fossil electrics, including that unique dragon. And the Voltorb Hisuian version. Town encounters. New encounter at stage 4. Wigglytuff gives you 30 coins for completing a mission. Okay, we're gonna have to look out for that. I don't know what the mission's gonna be, and unfortunately, I hope this doesn't hurt my focus in the game, because the game already is pretty fast paced. It's hard to like notice everything. I used to always have such a hard time with the Cell Eye encounter where he comes in and steals your items, until I found out by watching one of the other YouTubers click on it, and I didn't know you could do that. New encounter at stage 17. Croagunk gives all players an exchange ticket. Oh, is this always going to happen? No, this is encounter. That would mean it only happens sometimes. Croagunk gives all players exchange ticket. So they're changing who has exchange ticket. Wobbuffet doesn't give it anymore. Wobbuffet encounter now gives all players recycle ticket. Crafted items on the bench. I don't like that this keeps disappearing. Okay. Recyclable and craftable items on the bench, or crafted items held by Pokemon into their base components. Single use. Okay. You can break apart some items. That's cool. It can now also be encountered at stage 22 and 27. Sableye no longer encountered at stage 4, but now can be encountered at stage 17. Sableye is the stone encounter, I think, right? Kecleon can no longer be encountered after stage 22. I don't remember what Kecleon is. He's the one that gives the ground items, right? I think, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe the tool items now. Pokemon sprites are now lazy loaded and should reduce game loading speed time, blah 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 blah. Bugfisses added missing field and dragon memory discs for can be equipped to Selvi. On Selvi to previous used type. I don't think I've ever used this Pokemon, so I don't know what this is referencing, but interesting. All dash abilities and abilities hitting between two cells now guaranteed hit at least the original target if no other enemies are hit. I guess that's good. Yeah, that'll buff the dogs. Or at least make them work properly. Fixed Comet Shard description and Pikachu, I guess. Billy Perry, fixed Ash Resurrection. Already current unit already currently resurrect causes duplication of that unit. And not sure what that's referencing. Inanimated objects and eggs are no longer sent to the dojo via the dojo ticket item. Well, that's funny, but I guess that's good. Fixed passive description of Billy Luck. Fixed Houndour's spawn not getting amorphous bonus. I guess that's good. Fixed range of Sucduction heal? Not sure what that is. Nerfed Marowak. Encountering items for stage 14 and 24. Jukebox gadget level. Game Boy gadget level required. Decrease. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, we're done with the patch. Well, not really. Let's have a look-see at these Pokemon. It's pretty much taking up all of my playtime, but that's fine. I don't mind covering this whole patch. So we get lots of electric stuff going on. So we got the Rotoms. So Rotoms can change forms to the new appliances possessing from the form of catalog. Fires a plasma bolt towards... Well, I guess this also gives electric artificial more synergy, because he's no longer light anymore. This splits into two. They gave him a new ability, right? Fires a plasma bolt. Current direction deals 60 special damage the first enemy hit. That splits into two, dealing 50. Yeah. Maybe this was the same ability? I don't use Rotom all that much. Because usually when I'm playing light, it doesn't get offered to me. Superheat. A cone attack that deals 9 times ability power, special damage over 3 seconds, and armor break. Okay. So each one of them has a different ability. Power Wash. Floods a row highest total enemies HP with plasma drops, dealing lots of special damage evenly among all enemies in that row. That makes it kind of like a pseudo Kyogre. Kyogre's ability is pretty strong, but it's also strong because it's a monster. So, I don't know. But that's interesting. Deep Freeze. 9 bolts of ice over 3 seconds. Each dealing special damage and reducing target's special defense by 1. If the target is KO'd, the bolt chain to the next closest enemy. I wonder how this gets offered, though. Like, where are you gonna find Rotom? Because I don't know, like, if you're... I don't know if this is going to be one of those things where you can actively try to get it into one of these synergies, or if it's just going to show up in Electric Ghost portals. And, like, artificial. But, like, are you going to be able to run Rotom Frost in a Frost team without, like, hard pivoting? I don't know. That's a thought. Flies away and fires 3 plasma bolts through the closest enemy. Each bolt deals blah blah blah, reduces by past 3 enemy. That's cool. This is also a 3 range unit on a flying unit. Flying kind of lacks backlines, and they tend to not have the best casters either, and this is a caster. Except that this one's flying away with something, right? No, it flies away. Flies away firing 3 plasma bolts to the closest enemy. So this helps it kite away from things. Cool. Yeah, I could see this being played on a flying team. I don't know how much overlap there is with flying electric, though. But that's cool. Oh, and then it loses its ghost type. Interesting. Rotom Moor. Oh, it gets the light with Rotom Drone. Interesting. Okay. Dashes within 2 tiles to hit most enemies possible. So it gets a dash ability. Dashes and deals damage and heals excess healing becomes shield, deals 40 special damage to adjacent enemies. That's pretty freaking good. And there is a little bit of electric grass overlap with Hussein Voltorb. I don't know if you can get grass 3 or electric 3 with, the inverse of each. But that's kind of neat. And then this one's giving a variant of Rotom that is light. Rotom can change form. Oh no, I did not read that. Fires Plasma Bolt. Gains 1 flash per cast. Okay, so you can still play Rotom in light. And we get kicked again. I'm trying to read here. Okay, so you can still play it in light. It doesn't... I guess this is a better variant of the base form. It's neat. I wonder if you can just play Regulum Rotom in a Ghost team. Wonder if it's good enough. Okay, there was other electric types added. Not in unique or legendary, so they were base guys. So there's an additional in Telbub. When starting in light or when receiving 50 incoming damage or more, Supercharge deals 30 special damage to adjacent enemies that are also knocked back. First Supercharge gives speed and shield. This thing seems pretty good for it's passive in general. Jump and land in the middle of an enemy team, dealing special damage to all. Wonder if we can use this thing as a carry then. That'd have to be an electric light carry. And it's adding another electric light to the pool. This thing could be pretty freaking good. Yeah, I think this is really good. It's weird that it's aquatic. I wonder if you can play it in an aquatic team. But yeah, that's neat. I like it. Was there an electric that got added in? But now we got like a handful of electric light. You can actually like play full electric light without... If you get lucky, we get Ampharos, we get Chinchou in this tier, we get this thing now. We get this thing in this tier, and we get this thing in this tier. That gets like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you get lucky without having to get Rotom... Is there any other lights? Yeah, without Rotom, Drone, and or Circuitry, you can get full 5 light without having to pick up any of the other light users if we get lucky. That's cool. What else was added? Whoops. Give me the patch notes. Okay, what's going on? Alright, guess we're refreshing then. Maybe the server's down. Okay. Well, that would suck. I would love to play some games tonight. Who's this human new type? Human. They're human now, which is cool. What's a ghost? Oh, okay. The unique got moved to a legendary. Okay. I always hated this thing as a unique. It was one of my least favorite fire ghosts to see. Okay, but maybe we'll use it now. I still think that it looks ridiculous, but it's a weird like supporting unit. Uh, Fireworks sacrifices his HP. Fireworks hits with deal physical damage and fire. Blue deals special damage. Fatigue yellow true damage. So it's kind of like that rock backline unit. Interesting. Well, I'll have to experiment with it and see if it's any good. You're probably going to want to build AP attack speed items on it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Server looks like it's down. Oh, server's back up. Okay. Alright. What else we got? The Kling Clangs, and we got Iron Thorns, and this new Earthworm thing. We'll have to check out the Galarian. Okay, let's see here. Let's check out the Galarian thing. Galarian Wheezing projects a strange stream around the user, gaining tiles per cast. Steam gives Fairy Feel to allies as a 30% chance to inflict confusion to enemies for 30 seconds. Pokemon in the stream deal and receive 20% more special damage. Okay, so it's a Fairy Field setter for a Fairy Field or a Fairy team. Interesting. I don't know if that's good or not. I do like Weezing though. So maybe we'll play Galarian Weezing in a Fairy team. I very rarely ever play Fairy. But that's interesting. What else do we have to look at? We had the Earthworm. Some of the pictures aren't loading. Wonder if the server is still having problems. Oh. Yeah, I think the Earthworm was just an additional pick at one point. It's been moved now, hasn't it? I think there was a chance last patch for it to be a additional, right? I'm not sure. Interesting. When I guess that's good. I was always complaining that Ground doesn't have enough uniques and legendaries, and now it has another unique. And this one was pretty much the only good Ground unique because it actually synergizes with Ground, and then this one's like all right, but it's better in a. It's pretty much you'd never really want to see Stonejourner. It's better if you're trying to do Rock 6 and then Ground. But besides that, it is not very good, and it's kind of like a sad light unit. Channel Underground reappears in the middle of the enemy team. And this one's better in fire. So now we have what it looks like is another Ground unique that works with the Ground synergy. When digging a hole, gains 5 HP permanently. Ooh, that's cool. Pelts the target with storm of punches, dealing blah, 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 special damage and heals. That makes it a pretty good carry, and it's steel, and there's a little bit of steel overlap with Ground. And now we have Kling Clang in the common. Oh, a really early artificial. And artificial steel. This gets artificial steel online so fast if you go artificial steel region. What happened to Vivaroom? Where's Vivaroom? There's Vivaroom. I was scared a moment that they removed him. Yeah. If you go region steel artificial, you'll get these two like immediately. You get steel online and artificial online immediately. Oh, it's got a passive as well. While its gears spin, it generates energy and grants 1 speed per second to your team. Launches 2 gears at the target, each dealing blah blah blah. The user's speed is special damage. Well, I think this makes steel a lot more powerful. An early steel is just amazing. You can get Aggron and Klinklang like right away off the bat. That's pretty strong. I want to know what these starter things are that it was talking about. Was there anything else that I had to look at? Oh yeah, this thing. Electric artificial rock. Oh, and this Pincurn. Team planner. So Pincurn. When hit by special damage, gain electric field. So it's another electric field setter. That thing could be pretty cool. It's got Amorphous and Aquatic with some pretty decent overlap. Probably definitely want to see it in electric teams though, but you can partner it with Electros, and then you're getting 2 Aquatic off the bat, and you're at 2 Amorphous. So don't know where you're getting the last Amorphous from. There's another Aquatic and Electric. You know what? That is, I'm not going to complain about that. That's actually pretty good for a full Aquatic team. Because I'm imagining that Surfing Pikachu is Electric, right? Yeah. Now you could maybe get Electric 3 on an Aquatic team, which will give the synergy to Surfing Pikachu. Which means he might be a slightly better carry for the team, which is awesome. Because Surfing Pikachu is cool, but he's not, you know, super amazing. But with all these additional aquatic electric types, that increases the chance of finding the ability to stick in 3 electric. I'm just not sure where we're getting the last Amorphous if we're playing electric, though. Because the overlap is not... Let's see here. Show overlaps. There is a third one. Oh, yeah, they just changed this from a fossil to it. Okay, well, if you get super lucky, you can get these 3 and get get Amorphous 3. But, I mean, it doesn't matter if there isn't too much of an overlap because the electric synergy just needs... it just needs... yeah, it just needs... how do I turn this off? I am losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, because it's 7 electric, you just need to get to 8, and then you gotta stick any Amorphous in, be it an additional or Goomy. So yeah. That's interesting. Okay, and then there's the Iron Thorns. The user supercharges this. They sure want to put electric field on everything. Gains electric field, max HP, then every third chain through target nearby allies. Uh-huh. Well, there isn't that much rock overlap with electric, is there? Well, I guess there's the Alolan Geodude or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much the only overlap. You know, you get rock 2. You get one rock stone. Guess you can't complain about that. You get an electric setter. I need to figure out how that works.